Hi, boys and girls. I'm going to show you where you can find your assignment for math, lesson 803, a piece of a part. And we're going to go over a couple problems on that worksheet as a model. So here at Module 8, we're looking at 803, a piece of a part. This is a 5-page lesson. Make sure you go through all 5 pages and look through those examples and take notes and have them in your notebook so that you can use my video as well as your notes to help you with your assignment. The assignment is on page 5 under What is my assignment? It's a worksheet called A Piece of a Part. Now with this worksheet, boys and girls, you've got 4 problems. Okay, and we're looking at multiplying a fraction by a fraction. Number 1 and 2, I'm going to be doing as a model, and you'll be doing 3 and 4 independently. Make sure, though, that you complete the entire worksheet before you turn it in. So you still need to do number 1 and 2, but you can use what I'm doing as a model to help you complete 1 and 2, and then 3 and 4 you're doing independently. So number 1, we're doing 1/2 times 5/6, and we're going to use a fraction model to help us solve that problem. And then number 2, we're doing 3/4 times 2/4, and we're going to use a number line to help us solve the problem. For 3 and 4, you're going to choose to use a number line or a fraction model to solve these questions. So let's say that you like the fraction model. You can solve number 3 and 4 using both of them using the fraction model. Let's say you liked the number line model. You can do 3 and 4 using a number line. Let's say it doesn't matter. You can do an area model for one and a number line for the other. I'm not worried about I'm not worried about which one you use as long as you are using one of those examples to help you solve 3 and 4. I'm not looking at just for the answer. I'm looking for how you're solving it by using one of those 2 models, either the fraction model or the number line. So I'm going to do number 1 and 2 as a model so that you have those as examples to help you with 3 and 4. So I'm going to go ahead and screenshot those 2 problems. All right, so we've got 1, and that is, what is 1/2 times 5/6? Use a fraction model to help you solve. So this rectangle is going to be our fraction model. So I'm going to start by looking at the first fraction, 1/2. Okay, so I've got my fraction model. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to represent 1/2 in this fraction model. So I'm going to start by just drawing a vertical line down the middle, and I'm going to color in 1/2. Let me try using the highlighter. That might be easier. Let's do this. Okay, just give me a second to shade in 1/2. Now, when you're doing this, it might be easier to have it printed. If you don't have it printed and you have to use it, you're doing it on your iPad, you want to just choose a light color. You are going to need 2 colors, like 2 color pencils, 2 crayons. If you're doing this digitally, you're just going to need 2 different color tools. And I would choose a light color and a dark color. Oops, I can erase that. All right, so I'm shading in 1/2. Let me just erase this piece here. Oh, no. Try that again, boys and girls. I'm sorry. Didn't think it was going to erase the whole thing. Just bear with me. You can always fast forward a little bit here. All right, almost done. So we're shading in 1/2. Okay. So we've got our first fraction is 1/2 represented in the fraction model. Now we're going to look at the 5/6. So I want you to pretend that that fraction model of 1/2 is not here. And we're going to draw 5/6 within this fraction model. So my 1/2 we did vertically. Now 5/6 I'm going to do horizontally. So 6 is even, so I always go in the middle. And then I need 3 pieces on each side for 6. And again, using paper and pencil is probably going to be a lot neater than what I'm doing on the computer right now. Okay. Oh. All right. Not the neatest, but you can see if you're looking just straight across, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces straight across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so we've got our 5, 6, but we need to shade in what the numerator tells us to shade in, and that's a 5. So we need to shade in 5 going across. So there's 1, and notice I'm going all the way across because that's 5, 6. All the way across. There's 2, 6. All the way across is 3, 6. All the way across 4, 6, and 5, 6. Okay, so now I have my 2 fractions represented in this number model. The yellow is showing 1/2. If you could just visualize the yellow, you can see that that's colored in half of the fraction model. In blue is the 5, 6. So if we broke up the fraction model horizontally by 6 parts, and we shaded in 5 across. So now we're going to look at using this number model to help us solve this multiplication problem of 1/2 times 5, 6. In order to do that, boys and girls, what you're going to start by doing is you're going to look at how many pieces do you have total now? Well, I've got 1 piece here, 2 pieces, 3 pieces, 4 pieces, 5 pieces, 6 pieces, 7 pieces, 8 pieces, 9 pieces, 10 pieces, 11 pieces, 12 pieces. So I've got 12 pieces total. And then to get the numerator, so that's our denominator, how many pieces do we have in this fraction model now total? We've got 12 pieces. When we broke it up in half and then into 6, we got 12 pieces within that fraction model. Now to figure out the numerator, we're going to look at how many pieces are overlapping with yellow and blue. So we're looking at overlapping with yellow and blue. Okay, well, we've got 1 piece here that's overlapping in yellow and blue. 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 pieces that are overlapping in blue. So that is going to be our numerator. So our fraction is 5/12. 1/2 times 5, 6 is 5/12. Okay. And a quick way when you can just check your work is multiply across. When you're multiplying fractions, you just multiply straight across. 1 times 5 is 5. 2 times 6 is 12. 5/12. We got the same answer by multiplying across as when we did it in the number model. Okay. And I will tell you, my fraction model here is not the neatest. When you go on Buzz and you're looking at your Buzz lesson, they'll show you a few examples of using a fraction model that are a lot neater than mine, but it's the same concept. So I would definitely suggest looking at those examples on Buzz. It'll be a little bit easier for you to see the overlapping, whereas mine's a little messy because I'm using my laptop to draw. All right, so that's your first example of multiplying fractions using a fraction model. Number 2, we're going to be multiplying fractions but using a number line. So I'm going to show you this example. That using a number line, to me personally, is just a little bit trickier. So that's why for numbers 3 and 4, you can decide which model you want to use. Do you want to use the fraction model? Do you want to use the number line? Do you want to use both? So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at the second fraction. So for number 2, when we're using a number line, I would suggest by starting by looking at the second fraction. So our second fraction here is 2/4. Well, I know that 2/4 is equal to 1/2. Let's look at our number line. Our number line is from 0 to 1. And when we're using a number line to multiply two fractions, all we need is a number line from 0 to 1, because when you multiply a fraction by a fraction, when you multiply a number that's less than 1 by a number that's less than 1, your answer is going to be less than 1. So that's all we need in a number line for multiplying fractions by fractions, is a number line from 0 to 1, because our answer is going to be somewhere between 0 and 1. So back to my second fraction, 2/4. I know 2/4 is equal to 1/2. So I'm going to put 2/4 approximately in the middle, and I'm going to label that 2/4. I know that 2/4, as I said, is equivalent to 1/2. So I like to write the equivalent fractions underneath. Okay, so I've got my fraction 2/4 labeled here. We're done with the second fraction. Let's look at the first fraction. The first fraction is 3/4. We're going to start by looking at the denominator, 4. I know that the denominator tells me how many pieces total I need to break up my model into. So 4 pieces. So from 0 to my second fraction, which was 2/4, I'm going to break that section up into 4 pieces. So from 0 to 2/4, I need to break it up into 4 pieces, 4 even pieces. So 1, 2, 3, 4. See my 4 pieces? From 0 to the first line is 1. Then we've got from the first line to the second line is 2. Second line to third line is 3. Third line to fourth line is 4 pieces. I've got 4 equal pieces from 0 to 2/4. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side of the number line. From 2/4 to 1/2, I'm going to break it up into 4 even pieces. 1, 2, 3, and then 4 is at your 1. So now we've got both sides of the number line broken up by the number of our denominator in that first fraction. 3/4, our denominator was 4. We broke up from 0 to 2/4 into 4 pieces, and from 2/4 to 1/2 into 4 pieces. Let's look at how many pieces we have total. Starting at 0, we've got 1, 2, I'm sorry, not starting at 0. So we've got 0, then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 8 pieces from 0 to 1. So what we're going to do is we're going to label those pieces. If we have 8 total pieces, the first piece is going to be 1 out of 8, right? That's our first piece out of 8 pieces. So our fraction is 1/8. Our second piece is 2 pieces out of 8. So 2/8. Our third piece is 3 out of 8. Okay, our fourth piece would be 4 out of 8. 4 out of 8 is equal to 1/2, which is also equal to 2/4. So I'm going to put 4/8 down here. 5 out of 8, or 5/8, is our next piece. 6/8, 7/8, and then 1/2. We've learned 1/2 is equal to any number over itself. So if we're dealing with 8ths, it would be 8/8. If we were dealing with 5ths, it'd be 5/5. If we're dealing with 6, 6/6. So just as a recap, the first thing I did was I took a look at my second fraction, 2/4. I found that on my number line. I know 2/4 is equal to 1/2, so I put it right in the middle. I'm done with my second fraction. I'm looking at my first fraction, 3/4. I look at my denominator. My denominator tells me how many pieces I need to break up my number line. So from 0 to 2/4, I broke it up into 4 pieces. From 2/4 to 1/2, I broke it up into 4 pieces. Then I looked at how many pieces do I have total. From 0 to 1, I have 8 pieces. So I'm labeling the rest of my number line into 8ths. Okay, so now let's look back at our first fraction again, 3/4. Our numerator, we're done with our denominator. We broke up each side by 4. Our numerator is 3. Our numerator is telling us how many jumps we have to make from 0. So we're starting at 0, and we need to make 3 jumps because our numerator is 3. So I'm going to start at 0 to 1/8 is 1 jump. From 1/8 to 2/8 is 3 jumps. From 2/8 to 3/8 is 3 jumps. So we just made 3 jumps. 1/4, 2/4, 3/4. I'm sorry, no, 1/8, 2/8, 3/8. And so once we make our 3 jumps, we're going to look at where we landed. 3/8. We landed at our 3/8, and guess what the answer is? 3/8. And we can check our work. Again, with numbers 3 and 4, you have to use these models. But to check your work, all you have to do is multiply the numerator and the denominator straight across. Well, 3 times 2 is 6. So I'm just going straight across. 3 times 2 is 6. And 4 times 4, multiplying straight across, is 16. Well, I got 3/8 as my final answer. And when I multiply straight across, I get 6/18. Well, this fraction, 6/16, can be reduced, or it can be simplified. I can divide, when we're reducing or simplifying, we can divide. So we have to figure out what we can divide both the top and the bottom number by. So the numerator, 6, that can be divided by 2. 16 could also be divided by 2, so let's try that. 6 divided by 2 is 3. 16 divided by 2 is 8. 3/8, which is the same as the answer that we got when we used the number line. Okay, so boys and girls, these are 2 models, your fraction model and your number line, that you can use when you're multiplying fractions by fractions. On your worksheet, so I'm going to go back to that worksheet, you're going to be doing 3 and 4. And as I said, you can choose how you do this work. You can do a fraction model for both 3 and 4. You can use a number model for 3 and 4. You could do one or the other. You could do the number line for number 3 or the fraction model for number 4. It's up to you, as long as you're using one of the models to show me your work. Okay, you've got to use those models to help show your work. And also don't forget to also do 1 and 2. Don't leave those blank. You can use mine to complete 1 and 2, but they still do need to be done. When you're completed with your worksheet, you're going to go to the next activity. You'll click on that blue plus button and attach that worksheet.